Hello everyone, I'm back after the holiday break. Um, if you've been watching my channel, you know that my last video was actually a non-comic book video. Was Happy New Year video. So you haven't checked it out, check it out. Um, and yeah, so this is the first comic book related video of 2014, and I'll be showing the books that I picked up this week. I actually went to the shop yesterday, which was Saturday, because the books, due to the New Year's holiday, did not arrive to the shop until Friday. They went on sale on Friday afternoon. So I went yesterday, which is very rare that I go to the shop on a Saturday. And even when I was, having a regular, office job, we were on the day the books came out because I worked so close to where the shops are. Uh, so the only time I actually did go on Saturdays would be when I was in college, because of school. So the only other time I go to a shop on Saturday would be free comic book day. So it's a rarity for me to go on weekends, but I have gone on Saturdays from time to time. Anyway, so the books that I picked up the third and fourth week of December, I already kept those, but I might actually um do reviews on them maybe next week when my first new episode of Comics and Beyond uh, comes out, which I'll be doing the first one next Sunday or Saturday. I might pre-record it, but whenever I do the Comics and Beyond video, I'll show those books. Um, because of the holiday season, late books and everything. Um, I decided to do the poll today, and I'll be, you know, doing a new episode of Comics and Beyond next week, and I'll probably just talk about TV shows that I like, old TV shows, current TV shows, and I'll probably show and do reviews on the books that I picked up uh on in December, the second and the third and fourth week of December. Anyways, these books that came out last week, they actually went on sale on the 31st of December, so they are technically the last books of 2013. Um, and there were a few books that I was looking forward to, but you know, I think there's nothing really extraordinary on this week's pool. Um, Nothing special. It was one of those books where it was like, yeah, they're okay. I mean, I usually have a lot of to talk about books, about the books that I pick up, but this last batch of books for 2013, they aren't really all that special. So let's get started. First up, Superman number 26. The Parasite shows up. This is the first post return to Krypton Returns issue of Superman, but they don't really deal with that. They actually are dealing with the Psy War that went on between issues 23, 22, and 24, I believe it was. 25 was Krypton Returned. So they're still really dealing with Lois Lane being in a coma. She does have this sort of she still has all these psychic powers, she still has those. She's still in a coma. Apparently, she's actually sort of transforming into something which would indicate more of those big brained 20 type brainiac looking things. Um, there is, a little hint for an upcoming plot as well. And the part side shows up. Superman Unchained number 5. This was probably the best book that came out of this batch of books that I pulled this week. Because finally, the stories are coming together. Um, the rat thing with the ascension thing, they're finally, related, which we knew they would somehow connect. Um, Last issue, the Ascension, who kidnapped Lewis, tells told her, the leader told her that you know they were a creation of Sam Lane, but they were like an indirect creation. It all has to do with Wrath coming, since 1938. Wrath showed up in 1938. Apparently, his ship had some sort of equation to manipulate substances. So, pretty much, the entire history of the world, all those technological advancements had to do with, alien technology. Uh, we get an explanation for the crystal, which was very similar to a sunstone, from Krypton, but this was a different thing. And so Ascension finally, decides to do their final attack, which they launched like every nuke from, every single nuke, not just the American nuclear bombs, but, from every nuclear bomb in the world. They actually had these sort of crystals there, which would pretty much, destroy technology and, bring humanity back to the start. All this is going on while, Wraith, is with Superman in his Fortress of Solitude, and he pretty much threatens Superman. Um, so all of this is going on. Then the Justice League, Batman and Wonder Woman contact Superman about what Ascension has done, and that's where it ends. But within the main story, there's like these little flashback sequences of an event when Clark Kent was a kid. Him and Anna were playing in the property of another farmer who, pretty much everyone thought was a little bit, nuts. Um, um, you know, um, I mean, the art by Dustin, I mean, look at this. This is part of the flashback sequence. It's, look at that. So it's sort of, so this flashback. I mean, the title of the story is, no, doesn't have really. It has to pretty much, it actually sort of plays against the fact, that um, Wrath or Wraith is in the fortress. So actually, Lana and Clark are playing in this man's property, and the thing goes from something quite childish to something very serious, because this man comes to the Kent farm, pretty much threatens both Ma Kent, and Clark, and just gets in the end, it gets uh, pretty darn violent. He actually, in fact, Lana and Clark were falling, um, from the silo, uh, right here. They're actually falling, and pretty much Clark ends up, you know, floating in the air, and so this man sees it, and so he goes to the Kent. Sorry about that. Goes to the Kent farm. He gets pretty violent with Matt Kent, and in the end he just sort of starts you know shooting Clark, shooting Clark Kent several times. Look at that guy, because he sort of using, you know he pretty much just says, you know you're an alien or whatever, and he says, no more hiding. So, which, like I said, it kind of contrasts with the main story with Batman Superman, because Superman, you know, he's both Clark and he's both, and as well as Superman. So at some point, he's pretty much, Rat says, you're hiding, in this, your fortress. There's gonna be a point where you're gonna have to stop hiding, and but in the end, everything just comes together, and I believe this arc is about 9 issues long. So you have all this stuff going on, but it's finally all coming together. The Lois part with the Superman part. So that was pretty good. Okay, Aquaman number 26. Now this is the first issue with the new team of Jeff Parker as artist, the previous artist, as writer, Jeff Parker as writer. Supposedly, Paul Pelletier, will continue after, will continue, yeah, as the artist of the book. But you had this other artist, Neto Diaz, doing most of the issue actually. Um, and the story, it's not. This is definitely not Geoff Johns. It just seems, so far, a very standard, I guess, Aquaman story. There's nothing extraordinary about it, and the art. It's not bad, but this, the Diaz art, which, like I said, I mean, you really do start with Paul Pelletier on it. But with these other artists coming in, the art does look a little bit different. It didn't really blow my mind. Just seems very standard, nothing epic at all. So I really don't know where this story is going. But it was like, it wasn't okay. It wasn't terrible or anything. Sorry about that. Wasn't terrible or anything. Just pretty okay. Sorry about that. So it was it was all right. Flash 26. Okay, so this is a fill-in, with art, with story by Chris Gage and Neil Gooch doing the art. I actually really like this little filler. Uh, this one I was actually looking forward to, because Gage had said in a few interviews that the villainess was uh, a revamp or a new version of a really old Silver Age character called, I believe, the Sky Pirate. And so, I mean, let's see if I get a good uh, image of the villainous. Um, nope. Um, so this is our villain of the of their book. So her name's Spitfire, and it's it was a fun issue, a nice little filler. Um, I actually liked the villain. Um, it was very uh, it was a very traditional superhero story, which I love traditional superhero stories. Um, um, and the villain uh, or the villainess of Spitfire is sort of a very rare type of villain that you probably would expect to show up in not even the Silver Age, the Golden Age, or type um that we that would show up in those very Golden Age books. Not even Silver Age, I mean Golden Age. I mean Aviatrix. Her whole thing, just screams Golden Age or pulp type stories. So it was a very fun little fun issue, and we actually get to see how the Flash uh finds a way to pretty much defeat a villain who isn't on the ground but flying. And I actually love the and the end just says it all. I mean, after all this chasing, she finally falls. You know, and she sort of gives up, and the Flash is wondering, after all this, you just give up, and she just says, the idea is to go where you can't follow. From what I can see, there's no such place. So, you know, it was a fun book. Gage found a way to really do something with the Flash that hasn't been done before, or maybe has been done before, and find out creative ways of showing the Flash using his powers. I don't know what to say. Um, so it was an okay issue. It was fun, but it's definitely okay. Teen Titans number 26. The trial of Kid Flash continues, and we actually get a much more detailed origin of Kid Flash, uh, which is really a bit tragic, but it certainly seems that the rest of the Titans really don't sympathize with him at the end, because he ended up, yeah, doing very terrible things, but um, you just gotta read it to kind of understand where Kid Flash is coming from. Probably the best book uh, that I've read since the New 50 started is All Star Western with Jonah Hex. So pretty much this picks up where issue 25 left off. Hex, Gina, and Swamp Thing are prey to the Black Mercy, and I think I did mention when I talked about issue 25 that it seems that part of this sort of ties into what's going on in the Batman Superman book, with Mogul. We saw those seeds fall early on in the first part of the current storyline, which was what issue 5. So here there is a mention of that, in the little editorial box. Uh, so Hex is able to break free. He breaks uh, he frees Gina, but he called Constantine to sort of help something. So pretty much what um, Constantine does is pretty much he kicks something, pretty much, kind of. It would seem like he actually killed him, yeah, and that's what Heck thinks, and Heck goes all, you know, pulls out his guns, get pretty darn crazy, with Constantine, but something regenerates, so you really can't kill something. Uh, and something tells him that if he wants to go, you know, back to his own time, that the House of Mystery was in Metropolis. So so he goes there, and in the very last page, Superman shows up. As we know, next issue, Hex meets Superman. So as always, it was a really, really fun book. I mean, when they're leaving, uh, you know, uh, uh, Yin and Hex toward Metropolis, he sort of, you know, kind of starts, she says, you're going too fast, lower down, and I mean, um, this whole sequence here, she pretty much, the girl pretty much tells, Hex to, you know, to not be such a jerk to her, and you know, that was a final sequence there. As always, this book is great. I love this book. It's amusing, it's fun in a sort of violent type of way. I think it's got really great dialogue, so that also helps it along. And we actually do have the book though. Does have in fact, there are two artists here. Morita does the second half of the book, and this other artist, his name is Jeff Johnson, does the opening sequence, because this is the whole uh, you know the whole Black Mercy fantasy there. Uh, but no, always great read, definitely a great read. So those Okay, so those are the books that I picked up uh, this week from my regular pull list, and I picked up a back issue, and this is Ghost Volume 2, Issue 2. Now, why did I pick up this book? Uh, the reason why I picked up this book was because I picked up Ghost number 1 that came out 2 weeks ago, and and uh, um, and I loved that book. I really enjoyed. I really liked Ghost number 1. I know there was a previous mini series actually, that came out on that came out on 2012, which I didn't read. So I knew about it, but when I saw that cover by the Dodsons, I saw the creative team, the price. I was very curious to read it. I just, everything looked great. Uh, so I wanted to see if, so I was very curious. I mean, when you have all of that, especially, the cover, which is very eye-catching. I thought, well, I want to try something different. I mean, I only picked up two books that week, which was Supergirl number 26 and Wonder Woman number 26. I had no real idea of who the character was, or if, knowing that there was a previous series, how this new number one would read. Fortunately, they have like a little synopsis uh, in the uh, inside front cover, so that helped. Even before picking it up, I did a little quick, with my phone. I did a quick research on the character, and I thought interesting. I picked it up. Before I went to pay my books, I went to the back issue bin, saw the whole miniseries, including the zero issue, which reprints Dark Horse Presents Volume 2, issue 13 through 15, which is the prologue to the miniseries. And I thought, okay, I'll give it a chance. And I actually saw this issue. Okay, so I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. Pay my books. I read Ghost number one on my way from the shop, in the subway and the bus. And I totally loved that book. That, I will definitely be picking up the miniseries. I'll continue with this, with the current series, which is ongoing, as I understand it. And, and, you know, and that would be fine because, this current Ghost is a reboot of this character. But I got so um, excited about getting to know this character, this current version, and this older one, that I'll be picking up all the issues I can get from from the original version, which came out in 1994, which first appeared in 1994. So my smaller shop actually has almost a full run of Volume 2. There actually were two volumes. Volume 1 went from around 1995 to 98. I've only seen like one issue at my smaller shop, which was issue number 4. Plus, it's got pretty much a full run of the second series, which is this one, the second volume, which just then picks up where the previous series ended. And it's actually like pretty much full. I think there might be about 10 issues missing from getting a full run, including number 1. Got like from issues 4 through 22 with a few gaps in between. So yeah, so you might be seeing a lot of this popping up in my videos, because I just love, I mean, I read this issue. uh it does have a lot of continuity there, but I might need to find number 1 for this series, uh for this volume. But I definitely enjoyed this issue for what it was. It does give quite a bit of information. So and not knowing too much about this character based on this issue, it certainly makes it worth it. Just looking for all those back issues. Um, and I even try to compare this version of the character with the current one, and seeing both based on one issue, definitely, this, or two issues actually, because I actually just bought issue some number zero as well of the current version of that character. It's just much more streamlined than they sort of streamlined the character, I guess, just made it a little bit simpler, a little bit more supernatural. So I'm just, rambling on here. So I hope you all had a great you had a great holiday. Hope you got a lot of gifts. I did not get any single Christmas gift, but that's fine. I wasn't really feeling like getting presents because I got a really great present, which was a vacation to a really nice place, and memories last forever, I guess. Better than just material things. But uh, I did get myself a few gifts. I showed those Superman books a few videos ago, which was or yeah, I think I showed those. Action Comics 500, Superman 300, Superman Family 200. Those were my gifts for me. Uh, so, anyways, just going on and on. Uh, so, like I always say, until next time, keep smiling.